if you have an anxious attachment style, you've probably made one of those dating mistakes. And the point is, of this video is not to blame you for having made those mistakes. The point of this video is to actually congratulate you for watching this video and learning why you shouldn't make those mistakes, because I'm going to give you some tips on how to address those things, because sometimes we can't help it. Because I know the dating world is brutal. I know regardless whether we're anxious or avoidant, it is brutal. We have to invest, we have to give it a try, and we are not sure about the outcome. We have to trust the partner, and yes, there's a lot of uncertainty, and it's stressful. And so the point of this video is to list those 5 dating mistakes, but also, and more importantly, to give you practical tips for you to break away from those patterns and to finally get the relationship you deserve. Number 1 is seeking reassurance. So it's basically asking your partner constantly if they care about you, if they love you, especially when you do it at the beginning. That creates a form of dependency. And when you create this dynamic, especially again early on in the relationship, you can overwhelm your partner. They will feel like, hold on, I'm not ready for that. That doesn't mean that they're avoidant. They can have a secure attachment style and have had other relationships and want to take things slowly. So the point is to really figuring out how you're doing in terms of the vision, in terms of the timeline of, you have an objective, you project as an anxious person, you want this, I want this, I want this form of commitment. Rather than thinking, I want it now, understand that there's like some timeline, 6 months, a year and a half, and respect your partner's boundaries or the time it needs for them to open up, for example. And so what you have to do, rather than always trying to get the solution from them, is to start from yourself. So practice self-worth, self-soothing techniques to really calm your nervous system down and to really analyze the relationship in the context of a secure relationship. This is what I do with my clients when they start dating, is to really figuring out, hold on, we know your worth. We've done that. We worked on your working models, right? And you don't need to have this desire to get that validation constantly from your partner. They shouldn't be the person who gives you that validation. They give you affection, they give you intimacy, but they shouldn't be the one giving you that validation. You are who you are. And so if you don't feel good enough, you have to work on that first. Second element is moving too quickly in relationships, so especially after a breakup. And so what happens is when you rush into a commitment because you want to feel secure soon, you got rejected, you feel rejected after a breakup. What we want when we feel rejected, we want to be cared for. We want to have that connection. We want to have what we don't have anymore, which is this relationship, this closeness, being able to share things with people. But when you do that too quickly, you might overlook some red flags because you'll pick someone random. You'll pick the first one who says yes, in a way. And it's very common. I see that with a lot of my ex's clients when they start rebounding very quickly. And you see they really pick the first person that they saw. And so what happens is when you do that, at some stage, you would force or you try to make it work as much as possible, but actually that's not the right partner for you. And so that will put a lot of pressure on your partner. And early on, they'll feel like, okay, what are they trying to make? I just want to have, maybe from the get-go, the expectations, you had expectation of, oh yeah, I just want to, just a fling because I just want to rebound because I just broke up with my partner and I just want to have non-committal thing. And then you started to want more, but the other are like, hold on, that's not what we signed up for. It's not because they're avoidant or secure. It's just a question of what were the rules of the game when you started the game. And so the element and the thing you need to do to address this is to take time. Take time to build the trust, to assess compatibility, take time to process your breakup. Don't date a week after you broke up with your partner. That won't work. Or if you do, be aware that that won't work. I'm not against rebound because sometimes there's an element of, okay, I feel great, but you have to be aware that you're using this person to feel good, which is different than building a relationship. Third one, obviously ignoring your own needs. And it's the idea of like, because I'm not worthy of love, my only focus is how can I please this person? How can I prioritize my partner's need over mine? Sometimes we don't realize that, but that's the sort of the dynamic of anxious attached people. And so what happens is when you do that, because you want more, and you don't necessarily get in return. And so you will create resentment, right? And burnout. And you feel like, after everything that I've done for him or her, this is how they treated me. And they would reply, I've never asked for you to do this. I've never asked for that gift. I've never asked for you to sacrifice your work for me. You know? So it's just like, again, figuring out how you can adopt a more secure behaviors, more secure patterns in this relationship. Practice boundaries is the most important thing when it comes to your own needs, but also it's also about the communication of your needs. So sometimes we feel, I don't know what I want. So that's important. You have to figure out what you want and also figure out what you don't want and be really strict about reinforcing those boundaries. Because sometimes we feel like, okay, that's a red flag. I would never go for that kind of partner. We all have a friend like this. Yeah, I would never go for those guys. Next week, they bring home that guy. So again, being quite strict about your boundaries and be aware that you're actually not following through on your personal needs, on your personal rules. If you are struggling, entering the dating world, want a bit of support, want some help, be with like-minded people, we are launching a program with Elizabeth on Saturday, 26th of October. There are more details in the description. The point is to really help you build the relationship you deserve. We have a series of workshops, super interactive. More details in the description. If you are lucky enough to register in the first 10, you'll get a free session with Elizabeth, which is always a good bonus. And if you have any questions about that, let me know in the comment section. Fourth one, overthinking partners' actions and words. So, sometimes we're all guilty of that. Even as an avoidant, I sometimes do that. Overanalyze small actions, assuming the worst case scenario. If they haven't replied to me, it's because they're cheating on me. If they don't want me to meet their parents, it's because they're ashamed, right? And so what you have to do again, understand that it's your attachment style that is driving the narrative here, because that will create anxiety, stress, also create a lot of tension and a lot of misunderstanding. And so the solution, which is always a great solution, regardless of whether you're anxious, avoidant, or secure, is communicate openly. So non-violent communication, effective communication. So it's not about protesting, it's about discussing about your needs. So we discussed before about your needs. Now it's about how you can discuss those things. Always be on the same page. And the problem with relationships is that we tend to assume a lot of things. We all do that. And also work relationship. We try to, because we don't want to bother, we feel they are busy, we feel like they want to think we're crazy, we don't want to annoy them. And so we start interpreting things and use our own filters when we read a situation. The problem is that the filter that you have as an anxious person is usually the worst case scenario. One thing to address is like discussing this openly. And again, it's not about protesting. When they say they don't reply right away to your text, rather than being in panic attack or sort of harassing them on their phone, is have a proper conversation about that, right? Oh yeah, just want to tell you, maybe, let me know when you are available to write to me, so I know what to expect. And so they know how to behave. Again, it's back to building a relationship is having the sort of shared rules in the relationship. Otherwise, there's a lot of things in the air, a lot of things lost in translation, and this creates tension. This creates a lot of misunderstanding and pressure on the relationship. Fifth one, last but not least, and I've made a whole video on this, clinging to emotionally unavailable partners, i.e. avoidance like me. So it's basically you're drawn, you don't know it, but you're drawn to excitement and unpredictability. It's not logical because nobody wants to be attracted to someone who's not predictable, who's not reliable, but somehow you're attracted to that. Because there's an element of familiarity. And again, there's another video that I made about this. There's an element of familiarity. There's an element of also reinforcing your belief system. And so when you date those people, when you start falling in love with those people, you put yourself in this sort of roller coaster of the highs and the lows. And in that cycle, that's not helping you to have a healthy relationship of inconsistency and frustration. So it's finding, again, why am I attracted to this person? And what do I get from this person? And you have to really be, what should be the ideal partner? How do I want them to treat me? And analyze, okay, is he or she like this? Because obviously you're going to list, if I were to tell me why you're in love with him or her, you'd give me 20 items. That's not what matters. What matters is how they treat you, what they say, not only what they say, but how they treat you, their behaviors, the signs of commitment, the sign of investment. So seek out partner who offer steady and secure affection. That's a non-negotiable. Okay? I don't care if they are good looking. I don't care if they're very successful. I don't care if they make a lot of money. If you want to have a healthy relationship, that's what you need. And if you want to have the relationship you deserve, have a look in the description to join the program. Hopefully it's not sold out because I don't know when I'm going to post this video, but probably a few days before we launch. Any question, let me know in the comment section, and I'll see you next time. Take care.